What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Muse podcast. We are doing 32 teams in 32 days, and today is day 6. We are talking about the Miami Dolphins. In 2020, on this very podcast, I predicted the Miami Dolphins would do better than what most people thought. I said they would go in 8-8, 9-7, and it turns out they did actually better than that. They barely missed out on the playoffs. They end up going 10-6, and there was a lot of things to be very excited for if you are a Miami Dolphins fan. And there's a few big things that you might be concerned about, and we're going to cover all of that today and more. We're talking off-season additions, departures, draft picks, strengths, weaknesses, and all that fun stuff. And I'm going to be making a record prediction. All right, so let's jump right into it. So as far as additions and re-signings, we see that the Dolphins, they bring in Jacoby Brissett, Malcolm Brown, Will Fuller, DJ Fluker, Matt Skura, Adam Butler, Bernardrick McKinney, Landon Roberts, Justin Coleman, and Jason McCourty. We see some of those guys from the Patriots, right? We see a Jason McCourty being brought in, a Landon Roberts being brought in. And we talk about Brian Flores. He used to be there in New England, so he has a vast amount of knowledge with those guys. Some big guys is, I love the addition of Will Fuller. Will Fuller is a guy that I think has been very underrated for the simple fact that he's always been injured. Last year, besides the suspension he faced for, we're not sure, it was the anti-drug policy. I'm not exactly sure what that entailed, but he's a guy that's just electrifying, and I think he really adds, along with that draft pick of getting Jalen Waddle, which we'll talk about in a second. I really like this additions and re-signing group that Miami brought in. When we look at the departures for the Miami Dolphins, we see that Fitz magic is gone. Oh no. All right, so they lose Ryan Fitzpatrick, Matt Breida, Isaiah Ford, Ted Karras, and Kyle Van Noy. Those are some big names to lose, and it's tough. But when I look at this, I see that the pros far outweigh the cons. I think the additions and re-signings I like more than the departures. You lose a Fitzpatrick, but you bring in a Jacoby Brissett. I don't think it's too big of a loss there. You bring in a Landon Roberts, but you lose a Kyle Van Noy. I'd probably rather have Van Noy, but I don't think it's a crippling loss. Ted Karras is a pretty big loss. But all in all, man, I'm pretty happy if I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. When we look at their draft picks, they ended up trading up to get a receiver, another target for the young Tua. They go in and get Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland, Liam Eichenberg, and Hunter Long. So I like this draft class. The one thing I don't love is I personally would have picked Devontae Smith over Jalen Waddle, but I understand what they're going for. They're really trying to open up that field, and Jalen Waddle's that guy. If everything turns out well, he's Tyreek Hill. But the problem is there's only been one Tyreek Hill ever in the NFL. There's only been one guy with that electric speed who's actually a complete route runner, can catch the ball, can attack 50-50, and knows how to beat coverages. Jalen Waddle, I think, could be a very good receiver. I just preferred Devontae Smith over him. Jalen Phillips, I feel like, was a little steal here. I think he was the best pure pass rusher in this year's draft. He didn't have the athletic upside as like compared to his teammate, Gregory Rousseau is who it was. He didn't have that upside, but I like him, man. He's got the moves. He's athletic enough, and I feel like he can be a day one guy who contributes to this defense that's already pretty vaunted. Holland, again, another value pick. Eichenberg, I'm surprised he was there. I thought he was going to be a late first round guy, a very, very early second round guy. But they get him. And Hunter Long's a guy that can play right along with Mike Gesicki. So I really like this additions. I really like this draft pick so far for the Miami Dolphins. And when we talk about their team strengths, their defense is tremendous, man. On every level, they have players to make splash plays. They can pick you off. They can sack you. You're not going to outrun them to the corners. So I really love this defense, and it's coached so well by Brian Flores. I personally think he's probably one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated coach in the NFL today. What Brian Flores has done to that culture, how he's turned it on its head, has been fantastic. But we look at their weaknesses. And when I look at this team as a whole, through and through, I don't love their ability to grind out the clock late in games. I think this defense enables them to not get blown out any games. We're really going to see how Tua progresses. Is he the guy that we saw at Bama? Is he the guy that we saw in flashes last year? Is he a bust? It's all way, way, way too early to predict. But when you look at it, they're in close games, and I just don't think they have that running back, that bell cow back that's gonna, that 3rd and 2 that's gonna be able to get it between the tackles and just grind out that clock with 4 minutes left. I don't know if they have that guy. And that's going to be something we're going to have to see. And that's going to be something they manufacture. They use Tua's legs a little bit more in year 2. Who knows? When we look at biggest question marks, as I alluded to earlier, it's Tua. And it's really simple if you think about it. If they get the Tua from Bama that we saw, that was just a high completion percentage, could push it down the field, the Dolphins are a Super Bowl contender this year and for a lot of years to come. If they get the Tua from last year that was, limited from play calling, was limited from an athletic standpoint, they'll make a playoff run, but that's about it. And it really is that simple. But Tua is pivotal with this team. They've put firepower around him at the wide receiver position and the tight end position. They've shored up that offensive line. Yeah, they don't have, like I said, they don't have the great bell cow back, but he has all the tools to be great. This is going to be a year we're going to find out, man. We're going to find out what Tua has. For record predictions, when I told you, when I look at this team, I really like this roster from top to bottom. I love their defense. I love their coaching staff. There is a lot to really, really like about this team. I've heard a lot of people in the national media saying that the Dolphins are going to take a step back. Tua is not the guy. And I'm not saying Tua is going to be a Pro Bowler, a perennial All Pro. I'm not saying that, but I just think there's too much talent for him to necessarily hold them back, even if he has the worst possible year. So I am saying the Miami Dolphins go 12-5. They make the playoffs. No, they don't win the division. The Buffalo Bills probably end up going 13-4, but I think they play them extremely, extremely tough. So this is going to be a fun, exciting division. It's going to be really fun to see this young team just make that leap, that next step. My bold prediction, and I'll leave you with this, is I think we really do get a much improved Tua. And, I'm not saying he is the best quarterback in the league, or I'm not saying he's ever going to be anywhere close to the best quarterback in the league, but I think this year he inserts himself with a conversation. Is he a top 10 quarterback? He's probably going to be right outside of it. I think he ends the year, when you look at advanced analytics, you look at just the gross numbers, I think he's going to be around that 10 to 13 mark as far as quarterbacks. And I think he's really going to be on the upswing. You look at it last year, he had all-time low stock. People were talking about just trying to trade him away after his rookie year. And I don't think that's fair to him. So I think this year, Tua really inserts himself into the NFL and becomes a great piece to build around in Miami. Dolphins fans, let me know what you guys think. What is the ceiling for the Dolphins? What is the basement for the Dolphins? Do you think I got it right? Is there anything I missed? Drop it in the comments. Guys, if you stayed around this long, make sure you click like, subscribe, drop a comment, all that fun stuff to help support the show, because that is the only way I can grow. And guys, I will see you guys next time.